Good morning, and welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin. Today, on this episode, I'm going to explain to you what happened to me this past Friday night. Something that is just unforgivable, unexplainable, and something that rocked me to the core. I encountered a very unprofessional, very disrespectful security guard who came out of his vehicle and approached me and started to curse at me, made me feel unsafe. This episode is called The Rude Security Guard.
On June 16th, 2018, a show designed for you, the Daily Commuter, went live.
Well, folks, dreams do come true. This is Have Faith, Let It Begin, and this is our first episode.
A weekly show all about faith.
Every day, we're going to battle storms. We're going to face challenges. But we have to remember that we're not going to do it alone. We have to have faith.
A show with motivational topics.
As you go into work today, don't allow anyone to steal your joy. Lift your head up high and know that God is with you.
Inspirational stories and personal testimony set out to change the world.
My wife and I are expecting our first child. I'm going to be a father.
Welcome to Have Faith. Let it begin. Here's your host, Angel Santana.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Have Faith, Let It Begin. As you can tell by my tone of voice, it's still bothering me as to what happened this past Friday night. So let's get into it. As I dropped my wife off at the local Target, I decided to do loops around the parking lot because Ariel was in the back seat of the car. She was kind of fussy, so I didn't feel it was okay to take her out of the car and bring her into the store. I knew that looping around in the vehicle would eventually soothe her and maybe put her to sleep. What I didn't expect was what was going to happen next. As I was looping around, a mall security guard in the vehicle got behind me. And what I couldn't believe was, after a couple turns, the car that was behind me, the security guard, didn't go away. Now, I don't know if maybe he was a little bit unsure of what I was doing, because I'll be honest, as I looped around, as I got to the front entrance each time, I would stall, I would pull over to the side in a fire lane for about 35 seconds just to make sure that my wife wasn't coming out. And then I would pull away and do the loop again. Now, I understand we live in a day and age where things are precautionary measures and you have to be cautious, and if you see something that maybe or could be appearing to be out of the ordinary, it makes sense. I'll be the first to admit that. On my end, I'm just looping around and around and around. Finally, my wife calls me on the cell phone and says, "Hey, you're going to have to come inside because one of the gifts was in your name and they need your ID." I said, "Not a problem." So, on about the fifth or sixth loop around, I pulled over to the side on an area that's not an area for parking, and I'll be the first to tell you that. But I knew that my wife was just heading out the door. The security guard was still behind me. Now, when I was getting ready to exit the car, my wife was already there. The security guard parked right behind us, and waited. As my wife got into the vehicle, I got her in the car, and she decided to, pull away. I started walking toward the store, and I had to walk past the security guard. The security guard looked at me, put himself in park, got out of the car, and started to curse at me, asking me what my effing problem was. I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Do you have a problem?" And I said, "I do not have a problem, sir. What is your problem?" And he started to curse and say, "When I'm behind you, that means you need to move. So you do what I tell you to do. Do you understand me?" And I said, "Sir, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just getting out of the car because I have to go into the store to do something that my wife couldn't do with my ID, and I'm getting a store credit. I don't know what your problem is, but you should not talk to me that way. You shouldn't talk to anyone that way." His response was, "I'll do what I want. I don't care what you think. If you have a problem with me, let me know." And I says, "Sir, I have better things to do than to go back and forth with you. I says, but let me tell you something. You have to be careful who you talk to these days, because the people you talk to may not be somebody that you'd want to deal with. For example, I'm pretty well known in this town, and the last thing I want to do is put a formal complaint and have you lose your job. So he got in the car and he says, do it. I dare you to do it. So I said, sure. What's your supervisor's name? He jumped back out of the car, gave me his name, gave me his supervisor's name, and told me that he was going to now call the state police because I threatened him. I looked at him and said, listen, if you want to call the police, feel free. Let them know I'm in the front area of the Target getting a store credit, and I'd be more than happy to speak with him about the way you're treating me. So I walked away. I got to be honest with you. I was trembling. The gentleman, as he was yelling at me, kept moving forward toward me. And for intimidation purposes, I would presume. The hardest thing that I think anyone should ever have to deal with is somebody who's actually there for your protection, for your safety, treating you like that for no apparent reason. He could have easily got out of the car and said, sir, is there a reason why you're looping around the mall? To which I would have been easily replied, yes, my wife's inside, my baby's here, I can't park because, she's fussy. And that could have been done and over with. But instead, he took it upon himself to do something that was just very unprofessional. And to be able to attack me like that with his words and to make me feel unsafe and insecure is definitely not something that I think is tolerable. I will tell you the reason why this story is coming on the air is not because I want to create drama on this show. It's because no one out there should treat anyone like this. The first thing out of my mouth, in my mind actually, in my mouth to my wife was, if he's able to treat me like that for no reason, what would he do to an elderly person? What would he do to somebody else? And God forbid he does it to the wrong person, because any day, on any given Sunday, any given day of the week, with everything that happens in this world, you don't know who you can tick off and they do something so drastic, and God forbid they do something to him. My last words to him on the way as I started to walk away from him was, I called him by his name and said, I'm going to pray for you because I really do believe you need prayer. And I'm able to forgive him today. I'm still hurt and I'm a little bit angry about it, but I am able to forgive him because I'll be the first to tell you that maybe, even though I don't agree with the way he treated me, maybe he had just received news that he didn't care for. Maybe he needed to vent. And in a way, I'm grateful that he vented to me because he found the right person that's able to forgive him. But I will tell you, I'm not going to forget. I have put a call formally to the supervisor and I have lodged a formal complaint. Because in all honesty, I can't forgive myself if I find out later he does this to somebody else. The purpose of today's episode is to share with each and every one of you that no one should be treated this way. No one should disrespect others, and no one should take a position and not have the patience that they should actually should desire. Folks, I would love to hear your opinion on this. I don't have a formal ending for this. This is just the story, and these are the facts. I will keep you up to date as to what's going to transpire, and I just hope each and every one of you learned a little lesson today about being professional, having courtesy, and respecting your elders, your peers, and those that you practice to serve and to keep safe. For Have Faith, Let It Begin. My name is Angel. Have faith. Let it begin. Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. That's right, Ariel. We're done with another show. And it's always great to have this show with you, my love. We're going to encourage each and every person to listen to our show every single weekday. That's right. You and I are going to help change the world. Do you think that you can do that for me? Huh? Yeah, you know you can. She does. We want to let you know, and yes, we encourage you to listen to our show each and every weekday, and it's going to be live at 7:30. Make sure you're subscribed to our show. Make sure you get ready, fasten those seatbelts, because Ariel and I and my family are going to bring you a new topic, a new story each and every day, right? Isn't that right, Ariel? Yeah. And she's smiling at me. Guys, enjoy your day.